Hey, Carrie Ann, how are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I just wish we could have met face to face, but unfortunately, with COVID, we're kind of stuck doing Zooms.
Yes, I know it's a little different, but I'm just happy that we can discuss some of the issues I've been having and meet regardless.
Wonderful. I just wanted to remind you about consent and that everything that you say is going to stay between you and I unless you give me permission. Also, unless I get subpoenaed in court. And I may discuss some of the things in order to be able to help you with some colleagues.
Okay, absolutely. Yeah, I remember the forms that we signed in our first meeting.
Great, great. So tell me, how are you doing today?
I'm doing okay. I have been a little, out of sorts going through the separation from my previous relationship, and it's been kind of getting me down, and just kind of feeling a little unfulfilled in my daily tasks and my stuff at work. And I don't know, just the whole COVID thing has just, kind of kept me to myself and really in my head as far as um, just kind of worrying about the future. And since this relationship didn't work out, what does that mean for me moving forward? So it's just a little anxious time for me, but I'm dealing with it as best I can. But I miss the routine of daily life for sure.
Or what are some of the routines that you've missed?
Yeah, I obviously miss the daily routine of me and my boyfriend, seeing each other every day and talking to him every day now that we aren't together. Just that, not having that person kind of in my life has just been, super difficult. But then on top of that, with COVID and everything, as far as not being able to, go out and enjoy events like normal, and go, see plays and movies and things like we used to do to fill time, and is just kind of depressing, honestly.
Hey, I hear you. So what do you do when you're not working?
When I'm not working, honestly, right now, I feel like I'm just kind of, I take walks, trying to just get out of the house. I've learned trying to cook a little bit more, trying to fill my time with some of that. But other than that, it's been kind of just me alone. And so I'm just kind of really lonely and anxious, and just trying to fill my time so I'm not sitting there thinking about all the worries I have about the future, honestly.
So other than COVID related work issues, what are some of your concerns about the future?
Yeah, I guess I just had a lot of faith in this relationship that I was going to marry this guy, and he was unfaithful, and it just really put me in a negative place as far as, what do I do now? Because I feel like put all my eggs in that basket that I would be with him. And now I don't know, and I don't want to end up alone, And so it's just sad, and it's just changing, my thinking from I was going to be with him to now he was unfaithful and not the person that I thought he was. So
Well, how long were you with your boyfriend?
we were together 3 years, and he was in my kids' lives. I'm just worried about, him not being here affecting them as well. And just he was such a big part of our life, and now, he's not, and it affects more than just me. It affects, my children, and so being, just upset about that. And I know that they feel it too, as well as me. And so that puts a lot of pressure on me, not only to now support my kids by myself financially, but emotionally as well, supporting myself and them. So,
Okay. Well, what pressures do you think being alone adds to your children's lives?
I think that with all of their daily activities and everything, just having that other person that's there to help me, take off the pressure and just help me do the daily things and be there for them and just interact with them as simple as, if I'm, not in the best, which I haven't been lately. I've been, just kind of out of sorts. And, whenever they want to play or just spend some time, it's like emotionally I want to be there for them, and being alone is like I have nobody else to help me out with that. So it's just like he kind of was, you know helpful in being there and just being a friend to them as well as me, and it's just like we don't have that support anymore.
So, speaking of friends, do you have a good support system as far as friends? Or once you started dating your boyfriend, did you kind of, cut out your friends, or not necessarily cut out your friends, but in the everyday, just kind of let friendships go?
I would say that it's I you spend so much time with that person that you're with, um, that sometimes that takes you away from those outside friendships. And I feel like I just invested so much time in my relationship and in my family, um, that I maybe I do have a decent support system here, with my girlfriends, but I don't spend as much time with them as I used to, because I was so occupied with just being there for my kids and being a good mom and being a good girlfriend and that sort of thing. And so I probably should reach back out and look for support somewhere else instead of always relying on that romantic relationship, like I think I had the tendency to do in this instance.
I think that's a wonderful idea. I know that when I have gone through issues, I have not been able to always just rely on my family, or close or intimate relationships, such as a boyfriend or my husband. But sometimes I just need to be able to let it out, and girlfriends just understand some things that parents, cousins, sisters, brothers, boyfriends don't understand. Um, and with that, I take a sense of responsibility of taking a piece of myself back. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think that, I do agree that finding, having a variety of support instead of just relying on support from one person or just a few people is helpful, because now, I would, if I did, prioritize that more, then maybe now I wouldn't feel so, such a lack instead, because I would have other forms of support, that would come into play. So that's a good point. I appreciate that.
No problem. You know, at the end of the day, with our children, we we often want to leave a legacy. Have you thought about what would happen if you were to go tomorrow, if you were to die tomorrow? What, right now, with the way you're feeling, what do you think your children would remember the most about you?
That's a tough one. Yeah, honestly, that makes me feel a little anxious just because I feel like I am the sole provider for them right now. And so if I was to go tomorrow, I, I wouldn't know what they would do. I mean, obviously, grandparents, my parents would help, and that's who their guardians would be. But I would just, I think that they would think I was a good mom and that I tried my best, and that, um, my identity is being their mother, ultimately, and that I do try my hardest to give them the best life possible, and support them in their dreams, and being mainly a stay-at-home mom, I dedicate my life to raising them. So I would hope that they would see that I just care and that I love them. Um, and that if I wasn't here, that they would remember that love that I had for them and the dedication that I gave them.
How would you like them to remember you if you were to go tomorrow?
I would like for them to remember me as being strong and being a role model to how they would want to be as a parent, and how I hope that I would want them to see me as I made a difference while I was here, and that I loved the people that were around me and made their world better with the time that I had here.
So let me ask you, how do you think you make your world better today for you as an individual?
I think dedicating time to myself, like in this session, and taking care of the struggles that I do have and acknowledging them makes my life better. Um, Having positive relationships, and like we said, that's something I need to work on, and bringing more friend time and support into my daily activities would be beneficial. But I think that all in all, my faith and the time that I dedicate to studying God's word, and just maybe not always dedicating the time to other people, but sometimes focusing on me and what's best
Right.
for my mental health is something that I try to do. We
Right.
all try to do.
Right. So, we all have responsibilities, and, I understand that you're mainly a stay-at-home mom, but you work part-time. And part of your worries is without your boyfriend's emotional and financial support, you're struggling.
Right.
So, what do you think would allow you to feel more secure at this point in time in that sense?
I think that's a tough one too. I think I would feel more secure um, if I had, those other support elements, because like I said, as far as being a mom and working only part time, I know that financially I do need some help, and I think obtaining some sort of assistance, even if it be that I work more and have someone else help pick up the kids, or watch them, while I pick up more hours at my job, that would make me feel a little bit more secure, as far as being able to provide, just with it just being me now.
So, um, I hear what you're saying. So you're saying perhaps you could pick up some more hours, and that would give you a sense of responsibility and freedom because you would no longer have to depend on somebody else to fulfill your obligations. And
Right. Right. Yeah. Just being more independent financially, would be would probably make me feel a little bit better about the situation.
so, are your kids in school during the day?
They are.
Okay. And when you work, do you work about how many hours a week do you work?
Right now I work about 20-25 hours.
Okay. Okay. And you have the support system to pick them up after school if necessary and things such as that?
Yeah, I have a brother who can kind of step in and help pick up the kids if I'm running late at work or something. That's normally how I get my assistance. But if I were to pick up more hours, maybe that would I would need a little bit more assistance from them. But
Okay.
yeah.
So, where do you think you should go from here to make yourself a little bit less anxious? Because anxiety is a part of life. I mean, no matter what you do, no matter how perfect your life is, there's always going to be moments of anxiety where you wonder if you're doing something right, or, you know, what happens if, you know, God forbid something happens to you or whatever. Those are normal anxieties.
Mhm.
But you have this added anxiety of not having that one person. So, where do you think you should go from here?
I think my first step is probably to get back into prioritizing reaching out to those girlfriends and reaching out to family members who, you know, can give me the support that I'm lacking from my relationship, from my romantic relationship. I think making the first step to reaching back out to those friends of mine that I've maybe not prioritized since being in the relationship would be a good first step. Just to kind of, feel a little bit more secure and supported.
So, what I'd like you to do until our next session is I'd like you to call 5 of your closest friends and reconnect with them
That's a
and
good.
see how that makes you feel. I want you to really think about where you feel your place is in life, in your personal life, and also in society. Do you feel more productive? Do you
Okay.
feel like your children are starting to have somebody else to help you, feel like they're getting that social interaction that they need outside of school and that emotional support? And we'll talk about that next week.
Okay, great. I like that suggestion. I think that'll really help me step out of my box and get back out there and reconnect with some of the people that I need to.
All right, great. So I'll see you next week then.
All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
No problem. Have a good one.
You too.